So hello everyone, welcome to new video, and in this video we're going to talk about a very important part of our brain that is called as hippocampus and how it affects our memory. Alright, so let's get into it. So first of all, what is the origin of the name of hippocampus? Why we call it as hippocampus? So first of all, the origin of the name hippocampus comes from the Greek terminology. So in the Greek terminology, the hippo means the horse and campus means sea monster. Alright, and it may be little bit looks like familiar term, that is sea monster and horse. It is familiar to something like sea horse, don't you think, right? So sea horse, so basically their intention was to actually call it as a seahorse. Why? Because if you ever seen a seahorse in maybe Google and all, you will understand the structure of seahorse will look like this. Alright, and the structure of our hippocampus also look like this. So structurally, hippocampus and a seahorse, they both looks very similar. So that's why the name comes in the picture. Alright. Now, here we're going to talk about the location of hippocampus first. So the location of hippocampus is the temporal lobe. So if you look here in this picture, this black part, this black shaded part is the temporal lobe basically, and this red shaded part is the occipital lobe, and this blue shaded part is parietal lobe, and this red shaded part again is the frontal lobe. Alright, so this is a lateral view of our brain. We are looking brain from the lateral side. So the temporal lobe is this part, and if you can see, the hippocampus is the part of the temporal lobe. Alright, so if we take this hippocampus and zoom in, we'll find this type of structures in the hippocampus, and we're going to talk about those structure one by one. Alright, first of all, before starting the structure, before starting the study of structure, I want to imagine a situation. For example, you met a very pretty girl, alright, and you remember her body language, you remember her very sweet voice. Maybe she has a very sweet voice, and also you remember that she's also looking very pretty. Alright, so all those property of that particular girl is there in your mind in the different areas. For example, if you find that the girl was very pretty, that pretty property of that girl is actually the visual property which you had seen from your eyes. So that visual properties are going to store inside your visual cortex of your brain. The auditory, for example, her voice is very good, her voice is very pleasant and nice, and you like it. So the voice directly goes into your auditory cortex. Alright, and when the time comes, for example, let's say you met that girl again, alright, and when you met that girl again, you can able to remember her voice, you can able to recognize her from her face. And how you can able to do that? It is because of so many things, but there is also one important part working at that time, that is called as hippocampus. Alright, so what happened is, we're going to talk about the mechanism of how you are able to recognize that person. So first of all, the different information which was stored in your brain comes through the neural pathway into the entorhinal cortex. So entorhinal cortex, it is receives signals or information, I can say, receives signals or information from the different parts of the brain. Alright, then entorhinal cortex, what what entorhinal cortex does, it receives the signal and then transfer it all the way to the dentate gyrus. All right. So actually, entorhinal cortex is connected with the dentate gyrus with by a neural layer second. Actually, entorhinal cortex has 6 neural layers, out of which first neural layer is responsible for receiving the signals. Second neural layer is responsible to connect the entorhinal cortex to the dentate gyrus. Third neural layer responsible to connect the entorhinal cortex with the subiculum. Alright. So now the information received by entorhinal cortex and then now it transfers into the dentate gyrus. And what dentate gyrus does is it does pattern separation. So it does pattern separation. What do you mean by pattern separation? So for example, let's take an example. We have two boys, alright. One name is David and other's name is John. They both are the brothers. They both are, and most precisely I can say they both are homozygotic twins. Homozygotic twins means they have same genetic material, so they look very similar. Their voice is almost very similar. All right. Imagine we can imagine it. All right. So if you let's say met David first, you talk to David and then you move on, and then John came in the picture and he started talking to you and he was like, what? Wait, I met this man before and how he is present here. So that means you cannot able to differentiate between John and David because they are very similar. All right. And on the other hand, if you go to their home and you ask to their mom that who is John and who is David, their mom can easily tell you that okay, he is John and he is David. That's very simple. So how his mom can able to differentiate between these two very similar person and you cannot able to do that? It is because of one important reason of our hippocampus, that is called as dentate gyrus. No doubt there is other parts of the brain which is involved in it as well, but very important role dentate gyrus also play in this thing. So dentate gyrus basically differentiate the similar patterns, basically I can say. So dentate gyrus help in differentiate the similar patterns into a different way, like their mom able to recognize who is John and who is David, because maybe there are some minute differences between these two people which her mom know because she had seen those two boys thousands of times maybe. All right. So that's why she can able to differentiate between those two people, and the brain part of which helps her to differentiate is basically the dentate gyrus. I hope you understand it. So the dentate gyrus, now the information from the dentate gyrus transfers into the CA3 region. This CA3 region is responsible for linking the properties. Linking the properties. What do I mean by linking the properties? So basically, for example, if I look at that girl which I took example earlier, so that girl, she's looking very pretty. Her first information I had that she's looking very pretty. Alright. So the visual information I have, she's looking very pretty. that is a visual information. Second, she speaks very sweetly, or her voice is very pleasant. So there is another information about the same person. So there are 2 to 3 and more information about one single person, and how we can consolidate that information into a single person is done by the CA3. So for example, if let's say the name of that girl is XYZ anything, so when I took the name of that girl again in front of you, you might remember she has a very pretty face, she speaks very sweetly and all. So all the properties you are starting to remember. And how did all these properties you remember? Is it because of the CA3 reason? Alright, so it consolidates the different properties of a same person, and then it transferred that information into the CA1, and CA1 doing refining of information. So it's refining the information. So whatever information sent to CA1 through CA3, it refines that information. Alright, and then after refining that information, CA1 sends the information into the subiculum region, and this subiculum is basically the major output region, I can say. So it is a major output region. This subiculum is the major output region. From here the signal goes into the different parts of your brain as per their respective place. Alright, so for example, if there is information about something which is visual came into this subiculum region, it will transfer into your visual cortex of your brain, and so on. Alright, so this is all about the hippocampus and how it affects the memory. Alright, and if you look at carefully here, hippocampus don't form the long-term memories. The long-term memories form by the regular interaction between the hippocampus and the cortex of the same information. What I am trying to say, that for example, you have a particular information and you revise that information daily and daily and daily and daily. So what actually you are doing is you are circulating that information daily into your hippocampus, not hypothalamus, hippocampus, and after that circulation, that information goes into your different parts of the brain daily. Alright, so that strengthens your memory, the long-term memory. Alright, so this is all about the hippocampus and how it affects the memory. Alright, so hippocampus play a very important role in forming the long-term memory as well. We had seen that. So if I summarize all the things in the form of information flowchart, so I can say that signal come into the entorhinal cortex, started from entorhinal cortex, it receives the signal, then through the neural layer 2, it gets transferred into the dentate region, dentate gyrus, I can say, dentate gyrus, I can say, and from dentate gyrus it goes into the CA3. After that it goes into the CA1. After linking the different properties of that person, it goes into the CA1 for the refining, and after the refining it goes into the subiculum for the output, which is the major output region, and from subiculum it goes into the different parts of the cortex. So this is all about the hippocampus and how it affects the memory. Alright, I hope I can explain you well, and yeah, thank you very much for watching this video.